Today is a very important day for Turbo. Today is the last day of August, and we know Turbo is near a critical zone where it cannot afford to go too much lower. Otherwise, we are going to lose momentum on the higher time frame. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? You guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're talking about the one and only beautiful Turbo Toad token. Now, before we jump into it, we are bringing back Coinfessions. So if you'd like to skip this part, you can skip over a minute, and then we will dive into the basics and technical analysis, as well as we are going to check out how big this Turbo community actually is and how much it has achieved over the last, couple of months, year, 2 years. Anyways, look, started with 1,500 in 2022, lost it all many times, but kept depositing more in real life money, and eventually ran port to $700,000 during the AI meta, secured profits, and am done with crypto. So if this is true, then congratulations. Yeah, AI absolutely did fantastic back in 2024, and we can see, right? I can't believe this guy actually won. And someone says done with crypto, they always come back. You never leave the casino for good. So I do think there is some truth to that. When you do make a good amount of money, you're like, damn, I would have never made this with the banks. I never would have made this in like the S&P 500 stocks, debatably which stocks and the how long it took, and but in general, it's crypto is just so much faster. Yes, it's riskier too, but it's always one of those things where it's like, man, I made a lot of money. If you want to do a smart way, you just got to come back the next cycle, right? You just got to come back the next cycle. But listen, right? That is that for Coinfessions. We are going to talk about this. Look, this is the Turbo community. Okay, this is the Turbo community. We can see we have the Twitter community. We have the Twitter Turbo Toad token. We have the Turbo family chat. Right, we have the Telegram community, absolutely, fantastic. We have the Discord community. We have Instagram and the Reddit community. So very, very nice on multiple platforms, absolutely everywhere. And, they're killing it, right? They are killing it. You can see they have Reddit mods. For the Discord community, they have a mod hub and partnership proposals. For the Telegram community, right, it's linked to so many things. It's also linked to the Twitter operation, Twitter artist group, website, mod hub, partnership proposals, work group, Turbo legal compliances, Turbo influencers, Turbo space, AMA. This is also linked with some of the Twitter community as well. So it's just fantastic. They're everywhere. They're doing their job, and we've seen Turbo absolutely destroy the scene. It's been doing very, very well, generally speaking, over the last, just in general, right? Just even with its achievements, the K-pop, partnerships, being in games, it's just always fantastic. This is why I really, really like Turbo. They're really active. They keep surprising me, and I'm sure they keep surprising you guys too. And, I know people are saying, well, what about the price? What about the price? Listen, it's not a Turbo issue. Okay, it's not a Turbo issue. The whole market is down. Even cryptos that are fundamentally and objectively in a top 10 crypto in terms of what they provide for the crypto space for the real world, right? They're also down as well. So this is not a Turbo issue. I know some people, I get it. We all wanted to cash out at a certain point, especially a lot of us thought we're going to cash out around March, April, maybe May of 2025. We're heading pretty much into September, and crypto is as low as it was last year in the summer, right? So obviously not ideal. Obviously not ideal. But look, I understand that, and I understand your frustrations, right? It's just better. We all wish we could just put our money in, a month later we hit the jackpot. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, right? That's just not how it's going to be, and that's just not the case. And you got to remember, everything is still on track. Everything is still on track from what I see. Is just the timing is hard to get, okay? But the process, the steps with Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin dominance, everything's shifting. It's just, we don't control it. We don't control it. We only simply pretty much talk about it, and yeah, we just report it. Look, in the last month, we are down 13%. In the last 7 days, we're down 9%. So we can see that most of the losses actually did come last week. And in the last day, we were down 1.29%, which is good because we do not want to be heading too low. We can see we're rank 168 out of 9,486 cryptos. If you've been watching my videos consistently, we hit even around 9,530 cryptos, active cryptos. So look, they come and go. They come and go, but something that has stayed is something like Turbo, right? We can see, ladies and gentlemen, right, 270 million volume. Sorry, market cap 12 million volume, extremely low, probably some of the lowest numbers I've ever seen, which is good. We know usually when there's lower volume, that's a sign that we will start reversing soon. When we go to the amount of holders, ladies and gentlemen, we can see we have just been pretty much flatlining the last couple of days, which is, like I said, not bad considering price action has gone down in general over the last few weeks. And in the last week, we have gone down a decent amount. In the last 3 weeks, we actually have gone down, 26%. But look, ladies and gentlemen, everything is still on track. Everything is still on track. And I expect things to do and to look well. We literally only have a handful of hours left, truthfully, until this monthly candle closes, right? And it would have to pretty much, let's see, it would have to go down pretty much 7% for it to get scary. But we can see with such low volume, I really don't think we are necessarily going to hit it. Look, when we go to something like even the hourly, right? Even the hourly, technically we are pulling back right now. We are clearly clear as day below this zone right over here, right? Clear as day, multiple rejections. We can see that even right now on the smaller time frame, we have a high, we have a low, we have a high, or sorry, lower high, we have a lower low. So we are continuously kind of making our way down. The thing is, we should see some type of little bit resistance and bounce up at the bare minimum to stall us out enough to make it for this August candle. Now, I still think, right, even if, what are these? Are these the August lows? These probably are the August lows. Yeah, these would be the August lows because it's July. So I still think this area is probably going to get swept, right? This area, it's pretty much almost like a double bottom. So we probably will be holding for the remainder of August. But like I said, in the beginning of September, I would not be surprised if we manipulate, go lower, take out these zones. And then also something on the weekly, when we look at the weekly time frame, we can see, ladies and gentlemen, that if we just, as long as we kind of close above 0.0031, right, we go down somewhere here, bounce up, and then reverse. I would not be surprised if that would happen. I would not be surprised if that were the case. And yeah, I still stand on that, right? I still stand on that. And ladies and gentlemen, gotta remember, we also have a huge, massive support and resistance over here. Huge support. I mean, huge support. There's no reason to break it. The only way I see us breaking it is if we literally were all wrong about this crypto cycle, this altcoin cycle. Like, that's it. But I don't think like that. I don't think about like those what ifs. I just look at the technical analysis. I see what I see. I just know crypto's history. Every time usually some type of, monthly candle closes or something, usually they sweep it, right? And that is pretty much going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys did enjoy. I love you guys so much. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.